Good afternoon, all. I hope you've had a good day. I have indeed. I've checked everything off my handy dandy list today. So I feel very accomplished. And I just got to making my little smorgasbord lunch. It's my go-to. So that said, I'm really excited. I went and got the Book of Enoch. I'm excited to read this. The Book of Enoch. Of the Watchers, fallen angels, a group of angels called the Watchers, descend to earth. They violate divine law by taking human wives, teaching forbidden knowledge, weapons, sorcery, astrology, cosmetics, the offspring of the Nephilian giants whose violence corrupts the earth. We got a lot of giants walking among us, don't we, guys? I would say so. Judgment of the fallen. God judges the Watchers for crossing boundaries. God does judge the Watchers. If you find yourself on the fence where you are, well, let's see here. Shall we go back? Weapons, sorcery, astrology, cosmetics. And again, teach their own on this. I believe in astrology. I do see in reference to the mechanics of the world how things are being used in weaponization in reference to spirituality, tarot, sorcery, things of that nature. And so there's just a fine line. And it's being crossed in many, many different ways. And so you just got to figure out what's important to you, what you stand on. It's one of those things. You can agree to disagree. You stand firm on what you believe in. Your faith, your relationship with God, and whether or not you're trying to play his part, in different ways that you do it, right? And that's, misusing different spiritual gifts that people have. People have a lot of spiritual gifts. We all have spiritual gifts, I believe. It's just a matter of what you use them for. And so that's totally up to you. That's where your free will comes in. And so you just have to be very mindful, and you got to be very careful. 211 as I say that. That said, so last year I made under 25K. I'm in that range. I'm in that market, in that class. And so I think it's comical because I know as well as I sit here, there's been many people that have stolen my ideas, taken from my content, misused it, and promoted it in the way that they do. And, what role you play. So if you find yourself on the fence where you're stealing from people's content, stealing from their, words and things of that nature, then, you have to ask yourself what kind of recourse is God going to take in reference to that? Because when you take from people, you're taking from their fruits, right? You're taking from their ability to eat, right? And that's where the imbalancing of the scales are happening right now, because so often enough we have so many people in so many prominent positions that make such an ungodly amount of money, and then there's people that just don't make enough money to live. They don't make enough money to live. They don't make enough money to take care of their family. And, it's just sad. It's absolutely sad that we've landed right here today, where you have people that have busted their butt for this country, busted their butt for the veterans, okay, that live a very lavish lifestyle in a lot of different ways, right? But they're not moving in humility. They're not moving in honorability. They're taking the fruits of everybody else's labor, right? And it's like, it's one of those things. It's sad. And it's sad that people find themselves on a fence where they're completely okay with it. It doesn't bother them none. That there are people starving and people with the inability to live that make 25K a year in a world that has the ability to pay you more. Because if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have so many millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires walking amongst us, which we do. Some of them have nonprofits. Some of them work for nonprofits. We can call them contractors, right? And so it's one of those things. It's like, make it make sense. It doesn't. And then they put God into it. And it's like, how are you not seeing the big picture? Do you think God is giving you a stamp for that? There's no moral compass for that. None. And so to each to their own. Enoch as a witness. Enoch is taken through the visions of heaven, the cosmos, and future judgment. He acts as a scribe of divine justice, a messenger between heaven and earth. He records what God reveals about corruption, accountability, and restoration. Ding, ding, ding. Truth is documented even when ignored. I have so much truth documented, and it's been nothing but ignored. Nothing but ignored. And they know it. They know it. They surely do. So, cosmic versus corruption. The book emphasizes divine order. Stars follow laws. Seasons obey timing. Creation has structure. Creation does have structure. And you obey the seasons for timing, meaning every season you're in, there is a reason for it. And it's all in divine timing, and it's in God's timing. And you can't mess with that. And you can't steal, and you can't kill, and you can't destroy, and you can't be corrupt, and you can't live above your means while stealing from your brothers and sisters, while they're literally starving. Make it make sense, guys. I need somebody to make it make sense to me. I'm all ears. So anyways, why it still resonates. Explain why systems become corrupt. Systems become corrupt because people get bigger than their britches. That's why systems become corrupt. They get a taste of that power. They get a taste of that money. They get a taste of that greed. They get a taste of that lifestyle, and they want more. They want so much more. It's never enough. It's never enough. Why? Why is it never enough? Well, I made a video last night about it because they're not happy. They're not happy with themselves. So they're looking for things outside of themselves to make them happy. And that's why it's never enough. That's why they always want more. And I'm sitting here giving you the secret sauce. The secret sauce, right? Become somebody you're proud of. That's how you become happy with yourself. Become somebody you're proud of. And there's many people that walk amongst us right now that are not proud of themselves because they know what they do. They know what they're a part of. And it's sad. It's very sad. Every time I walk out the door, I go to the store, I do my little outings. I see it every single day, and it's just sad. It's so sad. It breaks my heart. To no end. But I love you guys. Have a great day. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day, read my book, and do me. I love you guys.